Hey, I'm Mike Baccarella, and today we're going to take a look at how Charlie Christian used chord shapes to create lines. Let's take a look. So Charlie Christian is well known for his, reputation as being the first electric guitar player, and he was one of the first guitar players to play lines the same way a horn player did, and to have that kind of facility first. And it was a big influence moving guitar forward, through jazz and through other styles of music too, as a respected solo instrument. Now this line is played over the changes G7, C7, F, and A7. Now these particular chord shapes I'm playing are important because these are the chord shapes he visualized when he played the line, or at least I assume. So the first chord we have is a G9 chord, and I'm playing it here in the ninth position, with my second finger on the 10th fret, 5th string, first finger on the ninth fret, 4th string, and then 10th fret all the way down. Now the second chord is a C7, and I'm playing this voicing where I have my first finger on the 10th fret of the 4th string, third finger on the 12th fret of the 3rd string, second finger on the 11th fret of the 2nd string, and then pinky on the 12th fret of the 1st string. Now the F is just an F triad, so I'm playing that on the 10th fret, barred across right there. And the A7 is basically an A9 chord, the same as the G7, just up 2 frets. So we're going to use these chord shapes to create these lines. So let's take a look at the G part. We start on a B in the 3rd, and then he sweeps up. You can look at it as a D minor triad, but I'm kind of viewing it as, so we have this part of the chord, and I'm just going up to the 5th here, and then playing that part of the chord. Then he gets to the C7 chord kind of early, and I'm playing on the 12th fret, so I go, and then I go up to this note here. So I can play that while playing the chord. It comes down to the 5th here, jumps down to the 3rd. Now this isn't part of the chord, but it's part of the arpeggio, so we can keep playing it. And then walks down from the 2nd, flat 2nd, to the root. Then goes up back up to the 5th, and the flat 7 here. And then once we get here, we go down an F chord, and then jump down to the 6th of the F, walk down to the 5th, back up to the root. I can play this whole thing kind of while playing chords. See, it's not all perfect, but you can see how he was using these chord shapes to visualize his notes on the fretboard. And this is a really easy concept to grasp because we already know a bunch of chords. And if we can use chords to help influence our lines, the sooner the gap between the two is diminished. So we can take advantage of stuff we already know and use it for another purpose, which I think is really getting the most bang for your buck. Now this last part of the line, something he actually does this a lot, where he's basically playing, and you can see I'm holding down the chord while I play that. 3rd, 5th, flat 7, 9, and 13, and back down to the 9. Now this particular shape, something he uses in just about every solo as far as I can tell. It's really useful, and it's a really cool kind of sound because it's very angular, it's very intervallic. So here's the whole line again. Now I'm going to play that again, but I'm going to try to hold the chords down while I do it. See, I can play these while playing the chords. So you can kind of see what he's getting at with this and how he's visualizing these shapes. The other thing we can kind of grab from this line is that there's nothing really special going on with what he's playing. He's legitimately just playing chord tones and then chromatically connecting thirds to ninths and stuff like that. We don't always need a big fancy scale or arpeggio or something like that to create something really cool. We can just use chords and create some really good sounding lines. Now here's a bonus line over an A7 chord that I also got from Charlie Christian. This first part of the line comes from an A9 chord or a C sharp minor 7 flat 5. They're the same. And so I have my first finger on the 4th fret of the 5th string, third finger on the 5th fret of the 4th string, first finger on the 4th fret of the 3rd string, and pinky on the 5th fret of the 2nd string. Now he plays it just straight up. Now I figured that was just my first two fingers. So that's the first part of the line. The second part, he's just playing just the top part. He's just going up that, going up to the 6th, and up to the flat 7. So he's just going up two shapes. And then he walks down, just goes down the scale, flat 7, 6, 5, 4, and then 3, 5, flat 7. Now, this is a really easy concept because we can see he's using these chords, and then, presumably resolve to a D major or something like that later on. I really like how angular and simple these lines are. They sound surprisingly modern considering they recorded in the late 30s and early 40s. But they're really simple. You're just playing a chord. But they sound kind of refreshing compared to typical kind of bebop phrasing and things like that. And they're really nice, I think, to mix in conjunction with that kind of phrasing to give yourself a kind of unique sound. But again, they're really simple because we already know these chord shapes. If we can visualize those chord shapes as single note lines, now we're getting double the usage out of our chords, which I think is ideal, right? We want, every time we learn something, we should be able to get as many applications out of it as possible. So I would take these lines and explore them in as many keys as you can. Try them in different shapes. Try taking your inversions of these different chords and see what you can come up with the different lines. Take different chord shapes and try to come up with your own lines. I think there's a lot here. Thanks for checking out the lesson. See you next time.